Do all disbelievers go to hell? Allah told us that those who have heard the message and rejected it. What is the message? Essentially just the identity that God sent a messenger, name is Muhammad, with a message, with a book, and the religion is called Islam. Just that basic. Now it's up to them. It's up to them too. Just like when you say to somebody, there's a fire downstairs. I don't need to go into more details. Now it's on you. My liability is gone. Now that may not be the best dawah, but it is sufficient. Then they must be informed. There's punishment and reward in the next life. There's resurrection. Okay. So that essential message of Islam, that you're responsible in sight of God. God created you, made you, sent you a messenger, sent you a book, and that there's resurrection and punishment and reward. Okay? Because we can fathom that someone says, hey, God created us and sent us a messenger named Muhammad. If I'm someone who doesn't know about that Islam talks about an afterlife, I don't have a motivation yet. So the fact that I'm going to be judged is extremely important. And that's part of the message of Islam that we give in dawah. So that by itself, you've given the message. Now it's upon them now to research it and to look at it. Because also, you can't get subjective in this. You can't get subjective, say, okay, first of all, you have to be really nice. You got to be really smiling. Your appearance has to match the culture of that person. It's too much, right? No, you just give the message. Those who have not received any message at all, or received a distorted message like the Nation of Islam. It's called Islam. They call Allah and they call their Prophet Muhammad, but it's a completely different identity. Elijah Muhammad, obviously different identity. Allah, they even have they say he manifested in the form of a man and came down to the earth in the form of a man. So it's a whole different religion, even if the names are the same. If someone has received a distorted message or no message at all, then they don't go to hellfire, they go to paradise. And that is by the Quranic statement, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. We are not punished until we send a messenger. And that is mutlaq. فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. Not just in the dunya, it's in the dunya and in the akhirah. And as for the hadith, that they'll be resurrected and they will be tested with a test from Allah on the Day of Judgment, is an ahad hadith that the ulama say that if we choose one or the two, we're going to choose the verse of Quran, because the Quran also tells us that this is the abode of testing, not the other life. The afterlife is not the abode of testing. This is the abode of testing. What do the scholars do when there's such a seeming apparent contradiction? They simply suspend it. They don't say that it's a false hadith, but they say we don't know what the Prophet meant. We don't know if there was more to it that the Prophet ﷺ said that we don't know. So that's the first question. So not all disbelievers go there, but the disbeliever has received the message. Yes, Allah tells us he's on a path to hellfire. We say this person died a death that is earning hellfire. He earns it. What Allah does with him, that's his business, but that's what he's earned, and that's the threat. That is what Allah is threatening. So that I've seen the classical interpretations for this, which means he knows what I just said. He knows that, all right? But it doesn't logically appeal to me. So what would logically appeal to you? How about this? What if we said how about you stand at the gates of heaven and hell and you decide? Would you like that? Now, most people, a lot of people, you have two answers. Either yes, I would, or no, Allah's more merciful than me. If you say yes, I would love that, and I would put everyone in paradise, we say based on what knowledge, right? Based on what right? So the idea of I don't like something, how do you even know that heaven and hell exist in the first place, right? It's from Allah. And Allah tells you he's the most merciful and he's the most knowledgeable too. So why are you worried? Why are you worrying yourself with this issue? You don't even believe in heaven and hell, except because Allah told us about this. Heaven and hell is not something you're going to think about or do some kind of demonstrative experiment to discover that it exists, like electricity. Right? You only believe in it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us about it. Well, Allah also informed us that he knows best, he has wise purposes, and he is the most compassionate. Now, when you say that Abu Talib or some non-believer who thinks that he genuinely doesn't believe in Islam and genuinely believes in Catholicism, for example, or Abu Talib who helped the Prophet, peace be upon him, so much, and you, in your conception, think that that's not merciful, that they would go to hellfire, let's look at what you actually know. What do you actually know? You only know what the person told you. You only know the outward of what Abu Talib did. Even, let's leave out Abu Talib because let's say there's aqwal. Even if it's weak, but let's say there's aqwal. So leave that out. You only know what the outward of the person. Are you going to actually make a judgment just on the external of the person? And you don't know what actually moved in his heart. So you should, if you're fair, actually disqualify yourself as a judge. Lack of knowledge. I don't know enough. That's really what you should say. I really don't know enough. I don't know about people to make a judgment on them in terms of heaven and hell. In the sense of, like, why do they earn that? Why do they deserve that? All that we could say is that we hold Allah to be most knowledgeable, most merciful. And this is what he told us. It's not anyone's decision that, who is to go to heaven and hell. It's what Allah told us that he's going to do. And he's threatened these people. If you get this message and you don't believe, I'm going to put you in hell. Okay. So the summary of it is really this above your pay grade.